puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Good day. How are things?
I'm okay.
All right. Feeling better?
Yeah.
Good. You just made it sound like maybe you had died, so I wasn't sure. Mysteries. Anywho, I'm not sure how much of that you're going to use for the intro, so should we just do it again, or what?
Yeah, do it again.
Okay. Hello, Somicron.
Hey.
How are things?
Good, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Excellent.
Yep.
I hear you're getting over your cold, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's only had it for like a month or something at this point.
Right. It's not great. I was thinking the other day, with this working from home thing and not going anywhere and wearing a mask when I do, I have not been sick for a while. Like, I don't remember the last time I was sick, and that's normally not how this works for me.
You've been sick for like the last 2 years with the chikungunya cough.
Sure, but I mean, an intermittent, persistent cough that shows up every once in a while is fine. I'll trade that for being super sick.
So you haven't gotten sick?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is never leave my house again, and then I will not be sick. Of course.
that's not how that works.
Oh. Okay, how about this? My kids also never go back to school because schools are a cesspool of disease, and I'm sure I've gotten things my kids have brought home for me.
Oh, 100% that's accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, yes, my plan is my kids never go back to school, and I never go back to work, and then I'm golden forever.
I'm
Glad you approve of this plan.
Yes, I do. One of the YouTubers that I follow, a guy called Dr. Mike, had a video talking about something like this, where when you self-isolate for a bit, you don't get sick when you go back into the world because your immune system's worse, right? Because your immune system it needs to be attacked a very tiny little bit to stay healthy every day, right?
Sure.
Introduction with germ swapping, stuff like that. But when you isolate, it doesn't get worse because you're not getting those every day. It gets worse because it becomes hypersensitive. So things that would normally make you not sick will suddenly or a little sick, will make you very sick. Because it overreacts to things. So when your kids do start going back to school, you will get very sick.
Doesn't sound good. How about we just avoid that by not ever doing this action of sending them back to school?
Well, I mean, they're gonna have, I assume they will go at some point, or at the very least, they will go, grow up and then leave the house and then return at some point. You can't keep them locked in their rooms forever.
I think that was the entire plan. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I never leave my house. My kids never leave. They never go back to school. And yeah,
That's the plan, but I don't plans are a good step one.
what you're saying is it's a bad plan.
No, the plan's fine. It just won't work.
Well, sure, that's a bad plan. If your plan is not going to work, it's a bad plan. Yes?
Okay. No.
Really? You disagree?
Well,
If there's a 0% chance of success for your plan, then it's a bad plan.
0%, yes.
Yeah, that's what this
Zero,
is, right? My plan has a 0% chance of working, therefore bad plan.
It's not zero.
What?
Do you own a set of manacles and chains? You could tie them up.
I do not. Therefore,
now
0%.
It's 0%. Now it's 0%.
Additionally, if my kids never left the house, somebody would come check on me, and then I would go to prison for chaining my kids to wherever I'm chaining them to. So,
But you could just chain whoever comes to check on you as well.
maybe the first couple people. But the way society works is if you're doing something bad, they'll send larger and more powerful different groups of people after you until they get you. They don't just give up after the first couple.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Same page.
What if you chained everyone up at your neighbor's house and then they couldn't find you? No one would think to look for you next door.
You are a criminal mastermind, Somicron.
Yeah, genius level intellect.
They won't get you when the time comes. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just saying, I've been healthy. You've been sick because you're still going into work and interacting with people.
It's true. That could be it. Yeah.
It's part of it. Also, it's winter. It's never good for
Yeah.
immune systems.
And I ride a motorbike. So,
Oh, you think that
Riding
that hurts?
being in the wind on a motorbike in winter, yes, I think that hurts.
Okay.
Instead of in a lovely air-conditioned box.
Interesting. Is it the wind or is it the temperature?
Both.
Okay. So, like, if
Right.
I drove to work every day and the AC was on to the point that I was as cold as I would be with AC blowing on me like the wind, that would be as bad for me as if I was on a motorbike experiencing the same temperature and same wind speed.
Maybe, maybe not. Because a motorcycle helmet cover is like directly in front of your face. So if you have the visor down shut and you don't have enough airflow, you also get like if you ride for long enough, you can get CO2 poisoning from your own exhaling.
Oh, bad.
But
okay.
if you open the visor a slightly little bit, the wind will literally blow directly up your face, right? Like into your nose,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Bad. Don't do that.
So it's getting right into your body.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. And if you close the visor, your breath will fog up, and you can't see then. There's no good solution here. Other than don't ride a bike.
Yeah. Plus, your risk
Yeah.
of getting hit and killed in a traffic accident is higher. Yeah.
Is it?
You don't think so?
I mean, I don't know, so.
I think it is. I think if we did some research on this, like the number of vehicular accidents that occur where there are fatalities is higher if there's a motorcycle involved than if there's not, I would say.
Okay.
Do you not think so?
I mean, probably.
Okay. It's
but
just not, I'm sure, as a motorcycle rider, I'm sure it's not something that is the forefront of your mind at all times.
No, but it's... If the chance of fatality is higher, but the chance of getting into the accident in general is lower, doesn't it kind of balance?
What's the first part of that equation?
If the chance for fatality is higher, right? If you're on a bike and you get into a wreck, you're
Yeah.
more likely to die.
Yeah.
But if you're on a bike, you're less likely to get into a crash.
Oh. Yeah, depending on how those sides balance out compared to regular driving a car situations.
Right, and I'm a pretty good rider. The only accidents I've been in have not been my fault, so...
Well, I'm not saying that motorcyclists are causing accidents. I'm just saying other people suck at driving.
Oh, yeah, for
And
sure.
if you get blindsided by someone who blew through a red light in a car, you're more likely to survive than if you're on a bike. That's all.
It's true, yeah.
Okay.
Fine. I will agree.
Motorcycle fatality rate in the United States.
Well, that hardly seems relevant. I'm not there.
True. But okay. Fair. Let's see. Motorcycle fatality in Australia. Here we go. There were 10.8 motorcycle fatalities for every 100 million kilometers traveled in Australia in 2018, compared to 0.4 fatalities per 100 million kilometers traveled for all other road users. That's pretty substantial.
That sounds substantial until you then have to look at what is the disparity between other road users and motorcycles. If there's like 1% of all road kilometers traveled is motorbikes, that's not actually worse because we take up such a tiny proportion. It just looks more.
No, this is proportional. This is per 100 million kilometers traveled, and it's per 100 million kilometers traveled.
Right, but what's the total of travel done, right?
But that's why it's per. It doesn't matter.
No, but it does.
But it's per.
No, the fact that it's per doesn't matter.
What? What?
If the total is 25 billion for all other road users, right? And for every, what was it, 100 million? 100,000?
100 million kilometers traveled.
Right. Every 100 million kilometers traveled, it's 4, right?
0.4.
But, point 4 or 4?
0.4
was the other
for
one?
motorcyclists. And 10.8. Sorry, backwards. 0.4 for everybody except motorcyclists and 10.8 for motorcyclists.
Okay. I missed the point, so it is a much larger difference than I imagined.
Okay.
But just by sheer volume of other drivers, that number could still end up being larger, right? You can still end up with 25,000 car deaths and 10,000 motorcycles. It depends on how many people are riding versus how many people are driving. It doesn't change the statistics. Motorcycle people are more likely to get into accidents and die, right? That is what that says, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily actually worse. Because the statistics end up being skewed by the distribution of drivers.
So you're saying if there's one person riding a motorcycle versus 300 people riding cars,
Yes.
that's what's making this a different thing, is what you're arguing.
Because there are more cars driving 100 million miles, so the per looks lower.
Suppose that's true.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you want a statistic where it's for every 10 motorcycles that travel 100 million kilometers. This is how many accidents we have compared to every 10 non-motorcycles that travel 100 kilometers. 100 million kilometers. You want to control for how many of each there are in Australia.
I mean, want is a strong word. Frankly, I don't really want that. I don't care particularly.
Right.
But sure.
I feel it'd be more accurate, more representative of what's actually happening.
Right. Well, you don't like those statistics are fine. You just need to show all the variables in there, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Science.
Science indeed.
Said science again. All right. So anyway, what you're saying is part of the reason that you're sick is not just because you're interacting with other people and the public sometimes, but because you ride a motorcycle. That's part of it.
Probably.
Fair enough.
Probably doesn't help.
All right.
Cool.
Very good. Figured out.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So what else is going on in the world? Ooh, can we talk about this Warhammer thing just for a minute?
Sure, if you want.
I mean, do you not want to?
I mean, I don't really know a lot of the specifics, so
I don't either. I was just going to cover just what we've kind of talked about in Discord already, just in a broad sense.
Sure.
Okay. So bottom line, I don't know much about Warhammer. Everything I've ever known about Warhammer, I think, has come through Somicron and other people in the Discord.
Fair.
I have watched the... What's it called again? The YouTube video? The Astartes video, which was great, even for somebody with no context for anything. So that's a testament to how good it is. Yeah. Bottom line, Games Workshop released a statement basically saying Warhammer is for everybody. It's like, yes, we do deal with real world things like racism and violence and genocide in our stories and in our worlds. But we don't condone these things. We don't accept prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer hobby. We'll diversify the cast of characters we portray through miniatures, art, and storytelling so everyone can find representation and heroes they can relate to. If you feel the same way, great. And if you don't, you won't be missed if you go away. Okay, so, I don't know, kind of a generally inoffensive take.
It's generally inoffensive. But it's actually more aggressive than I've seen a lot of other big companies do.
Definitely.
Right?
That last line is
of like,
everything.
you will not be missed.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Yes. It's definitely a more of a GTFO, dude. Right?
It is. Yes, it is. So as a result, some people within the fan base of Games Workshop kind of had their feathers ruffled a little bit. Including a YouTuber who goes by the name of Arch, who has 226,000 subscribers. So he's a pretty big voice in the Warhammer community, I would say. I don't know if he's the biggest, but he's definitely, he has an audience.
Yeah, he has an audience. That's fair to say.
Yeah. So he put out a video basically saying that he's upset about this, that he feels like this is Games Workshop getting involved in politics, which is not something he agrees with. He just wants them to keep doing what they're doing and not get embroiled in the current political situation, what he considers political in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, he says that for Games Workshop not to accept everyone is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? Like, it's like a 10, 12-minute video. I think that's kind of a fair summation of his complaints about this.
Yeah. That's kind of the point he tries to make.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't watch the entire video because I don't want him to give him my views. So
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so that's basically what he's saying. So here's the thing. Number 1, I don't think I agree with any of the statements that Game Workshop made here are political. Like, we don't support prejudice, hatred, or abuse. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What political party supports those things? And what's the party that is against them? You know what I mean? Like, how is this political?
I believe that statement was made in reference with Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
And so, depending on where you agree on that, I don't know. Lots of people in government maybe.
Well, I mean,
could
okay.
right like that. It's another set of people's viewpoints where it's like, oh, we believe that maybe Republicans are prejudiced against black people or something like that, right? That's it's all perspective based, and whether or not you agree with those sentiments as well that matter.
Sure. It's one thing if they would have said we align ourselves with the goals of this organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be much different from what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is the phrase "we don't accept or condone prejudice, hatred, or abuse" has that been co-opted by any particular group?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So if anybody wants to read into they're aligning directly with the group Black Lives Matter, I think that's an argument I'm not prepared to have, number 1. And 2, I just didn't see that as I read this.
Right. He's skirting it. But I believe that's why
I watched his video. He didn't say anything about Black Lives Matter at all.
Yeah, no.
He was as vague as this statement by Games Workshop is. And that's part of my complaint about what he's doing too.
Right. Yeah.
Is he complains that Games Workshop does this vanilla, inoffensive, doesn't really say anything statement, and they're hiding behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he has his own statement he wants people to email to Games Workshop, which is the same thing. It's the same bland, inoffensive, vanilla, nobody's going to disagree with this on its surface statement. It's like, look, man, you can't get mad at them for hiding behind words when you're doing the exact same thing, you doof.
Mm-hmm.
So that annoyed me.
Yeah, the interesting thing that when I saw him talking about Games Workshop should stay neutral and not be political in any way,
right?
Which was, it reminded me of a picture that I saw ages and ages ago on the Reddit, right?
Yep.
Which is, I believe, it was an orc from the fantasy version of Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, except it's not Age of Sigmar because it was from like the picture's like 30 years old, and it was an orc carrying a standard bearer, so it had like a big flag, and I have the image, and I'll show you it.
Okay.
But it has, file is too powerful.
This image is too big for Discord. What the heck?
Yeah, apparently. Ooh, okay. So I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah.
It has Margaret Thatcher's face on it. And
Classic.
This image that I found doesn't have the text that was with it.
What the heck?
When I saw it, but it did also have references to her being like a war boss that would beat the lesser orcs and stuff. So Games Workshop has been political for a while, right? They've been willing to make those statements before and be like, yeah, we there are things we agree and disagree with for like years already, right? Like this isn't new for them.
Gotcha.
Right?
So for Arch to say Games Workshop has just been in their own little corner making their stories and not paying attention to the world at large is a lie.
Right. Yes, and it's also a lie for him to say that, like, one of the opening statements in his video is that, oh, we've seen all of our hobbies, like, get slowly more political, like Marvel and Star Wars, and now it's happening to Warhammer. But no, we have a chance to stop. No. It's always been this way.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Calm down, dude.
Yeah, it's weird.
Be a better person, baby.
I mean, I don't know how much of this is just like he's a YouTube content creator and he just needs stuff to content. Right?
I mean, maybe.
Like
I mean,
there's
maybe.
a certain level of this, I think. I look at people who are much more creative in the things that they do, and I'm like, man, that much creativity is so hard. All I do is cast. Like casting is not a creative endeavor for the most part. But people who are like, I'm gonna create something new here every couple days or every week, it's so easy to get burned out. So yeah, part of it is I wonder if he was just like, I need content, and this is something people will get riled up about. This will get shared. People will hate it or people will love it. I don't know. It's kind of a cynical approach for looking at it, but I think that may be a possibility.
Maybe.
I don't know. So that's the other thing. Like I personally feel like there are a bunch of companies today, media in general, who are trying to do good things, who are trying to increase representation of minorities in their media. But sometimes it seems like they feel like all they have to do is include a minority in a leading role, and then their work is done.
Right.
And this is the same for all media everywhere. Sometimes just it's a poor outcome. It's not a lot of work is put into it. Not a lot of brilliance is there. But it just feels kind of more noticeable when, you know, it's all about diversity, but then it's not funny and it's not really great with the action and the story's not interesting. And it's like, well, what's the point? Like, the reason Black Panther's great is not because it has a diverse story. It's because it's good. And there's a diverse story going on here with diverse cast members and actors and stuff.
I mean, I would argue to the relative greatness of Black Panther, but that's a story for another time. It's not shit. I will concede it's not shit. Right?
It's not the greatest thing of all time.
Right. Like, it has a couple of, like, major just, like, why didn't you, like, what's going on in this scene? Right. Why?
Yeah.
But
all Marvel movies have that. Yeah.
Yes, but that one, like, really stands out because people like to tell it as being great. And
Correct.
It's not. It's perfectly within the bell curve of goodness when it comes to Marvel. It's not, you know, Infinity War levels of good, but it's also not Thor 2 levels of bad.
Correct.
Right?
It's, I'd say, in the top half of the MCU.
Oof.
We'd have to make a list.
We'd have to make a list.
Hang on a second. Ranking of MCU movies. I guess MCU movies is redundant.
It's true.
Okay, so according to RottenTomatoes.com, we have... hang on a second. Yes, I know. I have ad blocker running. I'm sorry. So Thor Dark World is the worst.
At
as far as rankings are concerned.
Well, I mean, you had mentioned Rotten Tomatoes, I assumed for a reason.
Yeah, sorry. 66%. Incredible Hulk at 67%. Iron Man 2 at 73%.
This is audience score or tomato meter?
I don't know. How can I tell? It's just a picture of a tomato.
Then it's probably the tomato meter.
Okay. And, I mean, that's been a different thing over the years, hasn't it? Like, how the critics respond to something versus how the public does. Yeah.
Sure.
So then it goes of Age of Ultron, which is fair. I find Age of Ultron to be pretty forgettable in almost every way. Thor 1, which is probably where we start getting into, like, I think that was a good movie. Not a great movie. It was fine. At 77%. So, like, that's how good the MCU is. Like, the fifth worst movie is a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
That's pretty good. Captain Marvel, Iron Man 3. They have Captain Marvel worse than Iron Man 3. I don't know if I mean, there's not really anything to agree with. This is just general ratings, but...
it's also a 1% difference.
It is. But, like, I enjoyed Captain Marvel way more than I enjoyed Iron Man 3. Like, I remember enjoying parts of Captain Marvel, and Iron Man 3 has just kind of faded into the nothingness for me.
Okay.
Of course, you love Iron Man more than I do, So
Yeah. I can remember Iron Man 3 much better than I can.
Is
Captain
that the
Marvel.
one where he blows up all his suits?
Yeah.
And then they're all back, like in the next movie?
Sort of.
Okay.
He blows them all up and replaces them with the Iron Legion, which are all standardized. The suits he blows up are all specialist individuals, specialist suits. So there is a difference.
Well, yeah, I know, but the whole point was he's with Pepper, and he's like, I'm done with this way of life. It's too dangerous for us. I'm going to blow up all my suits in this grand, like, gesture, right?
Mm-hmm. And then he
all
couldn't
the
put it
suits are
down.
back.
And
No, he couldn't.
Yeah, he couldn't put it down, and then they continued that storyline with, well, Pepper left him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just, even, like, here's the thing. Even as someone who doesn't know the whole Iron Man story, I didn't. When that happens, I'm like, that's stupid. Like, there's no way he's actually going to give up the suits, no matter what. I don't care what's happening right now. This is a dumb, empty gesture that doesn't mean anything. Stop trying to make me feel things, movie score. That's all.
Sure.
Captain America 16, Ant-Man 15, Guardians of the Galaxy 14, Infinity War 13, Ant-Man and the Wasp 12. Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than Ant-Man, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Press X to doubt.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is good. I really liked it. It was fun.
Fun.
But the first Ant-Man was better. Cool. Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier, Far From Home. Wait. Oh, that was Guardians 2 back there. Sorry. Guardians 1 is at number 8. Civil War, Avengers, Homecoming, Ragnarok, Iron Man, Endgame, then Black Panther. Black Panther at number 1, right? Yeah. So that's the other end of this, right? Is some people also see diversity and inclusion of minorities as artistic excellence. It's not the same thing.
Right.
Like, it's a laudable goal. I don't have a problem with it. But it doesn't get bonus points because you did it. I don't know. That's all. So here's the thing. I don't see that as injecting politics into my media. If Arch or anybody else thinks that including non-white straight people in their movies is politics, then I disagree wholeheartedly.
Right.
It's not politics. That is just, it's inclusion. It's the thing we should be doing as a society. Okay, so I don't know. So that's it. I mean, what's annoying is he didn't, in his video, he didn't specifically say anything he disagreed with about the stance. He didn't say, because I believe this, people are going to come after me. He just said witch hunts are going to start, and they've already started, and they're going after people. And it's like, okay, look.
Name someone.
I know, right? Name something. Name someone. What are we complaining about here? Are you mad because there's a witch hunt going after someone who is like a hardcore racist? Because in that case, I don't know.
He's probably mad because there are witch hunts after him.
I guess.
Like there are like people meme about it on the subreddit already. That
on the Warhammer.
Yeah. I will show you. I've got one here. Throw that into a chat. This one was titled "Arch Fans Be Like," and then the bottom image is just.
Oh my gosh, it's huge! Why is it so big? Why is it
screen.
not readable?
Yeah, you got to zoom in.
I'm zoomed in, and that text in the bottom one is not readable.
That's interesting because it's readable on the subreddit.
Yeah, just link me to the post.
The image. Try that one. Or is it? It might just be the compression. Oh no,
nope, that's much better. Yeah. This one's fine.
Yeah, it's just screenshots of Arch's how he talks in his Reddit, his server, Discord server.
Like from May too. That's good. This isn't like 10 years ago.
No, this is very recent.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So basically, he's upset there might be some consequences for his public racist thoughts. Awesome, dude. Way to go, Arch. Okay, well, all right. I think we can write him off then. It's done.
Yeah.
He's doing his best to try to avoid those consequences. I don't know if it's working.
Yeah.
I doubt it. What a doof. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, the tricky thing is, I do think there are situations where the witch hunt goes after people for stuff like that was 10 years ago and at the time was considered totally socially acceptable. And like now we're mad at this person. There was a YouTube video posted on Reddit that I saw yesterday where he's watching The Hangover. And have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the moment where they come to pick up their buddy, and he's in the house with his wife, and they go paging Dr. Geisler, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he's sitting there watching it, and he laughs, and he looks over, and there's somebody sitting next to him with Society 2010, like, written in Sharpie and pasted on his shirt.
Right.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, I'm going to tweet about this, and it's hilarious in the 2010 era, and everyone considers this comedy to be the peak of comedy at the time. It's the greatest, funniest thing of all time. And boy, I sure hope Society's not going to come back after me later. And Society's like, no, this is great. There will be no negative consequences to this at all. And then it fast forwards to 2020, and it's just him doing a YouTube apology video about it. And it's like, yes! You can't, I don't know. I don't like getting after people for doing stuff that was largely socially acceptable at the time they did them. We can only hold people to the standards of their own time.
I don't think 10 years ago counts as a different time. Right?
Okay.
Like, I definitely don't think for something like that you should be like, let's boycott all Zach Galifianakis movies, right? I don't think you should be, like, punishing him, but you should be noting that if it's a trend that continues, or if he doesn't seem like I say him, Zach Galifianakis, as far as I didn't write the scene or whatever.
Right.
But if you talk to him about it, and he's like, yeah, I wish I hadn't done that now, then it's like, okay, it's fine, we can move on. But if he's like, no, fuck you, it's still funny, right? That's a whole other problem.
Yeah,
Totally.
100%. I agree.
But
I'm not saying we need to look at the past and condone things that we consider bad today. We shouldn't idolize it. No. But we can't punish people for stuff they did 10 years ago in the atmosphere where it was fine. It's fuzzy, right? It's a fuzzy thing. Like George Washington owned slaves. And the best thing he ever did about slavery was he ordered them to be freed upon his death, which is like the most milquetoast stance you can take against slavery, right?
Right.
Like, I want the slave to be... Well, I guess I kind of want my slaves to be free, sort of, but only after I'm dead, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Right. They can be free when I don't need them.
Yes! It's like the bottom rung of being anti-slavery. It is the lowest level.
It's the bottom rung that's like... It's made of pure iron, and it's set half in water, and it's starting to rust. It's still pretty shit. Like...
Yes. So here's the thing. I am totally fine with us looking at George Washington and going, his slavery was bad as applied to our current situation. We should not condone slavery at all. But it shouldn't be like, if George Washington was alive today, we need to, like, put him in prison. You know what I mean? It's just not, it doesn't make any sense.
If he were alive today, I would be surprised that he wasn't in prison, because people would be, like, trying to dissect him for being, like, 300 years old. But that's a story for another time.
That's fair. But like you said with Galifianakis, right, it comes with an attitude change.
Right. I do think you then need to have a look at these people who can't change, because they were from a long time ago.
And dead now.
A period greater than 10 years, and say, okay, well, this person can't change, but the standards at which we use them can. Should we still have this person on... Is he on money? I don't know.
He's on the quarter, yes.
He's on the quarter. Like, we have someone who owns slaves on our money, right?
Yeah.
Is that something we still want to want? That should be something you look at now. And that's a good thing, that because you can change those things, right? You have a chance to update update these things with a modern interpretation
Yes.
or perspective, I should say.
Yes. But again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the fuzziness of the whole thing. Do we teach about him in history class? Probably we should. But we don't have him on our money. But what, like, help me out here. What is the big difference here?
On money is an idolization. It's like putting up a statue, right? This is someone we consider to be important. If you teach about them in history class, you can say this person was important, and here's why, but here is also why we don't, celebrate this person anymore. It's because he was good at the time. He was a pinnacle of an ideal we once had that is now below what we're aiming for. We're continuing to push higher.
Yes,
right?
But that's what we're doing
teaching
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And we should continue to do that.
Right. So basically the argument is we shouldn't put anybody on money or have statues of anyone from longer than a certain time period ago, because it is guaranteed they will have believed and done things that we disagree with in 2020.
Sure.
So like maybe 10 years. No building statues of anyone unless it was for someone that did something great 10 years ago, and then maybe we can do it. But then we have the Galifianakis problem.
Personally, I think we can just get away with do away with statues. I don't. So think
no statues,
those. Right? No.
Got it.
That's personally no.
Okay.
But I don't know. Is it really such a terrible idea to think we shouldn't be idolizing slave owners?
So it's rough. It's rough. Because here's the thing. There will be things that we do that future generations will be like, what an abhorrent generation. I can't believe they did this. Sure. Like, I mean, what if it's eating animals? Like, what if in 100 years, in 100 years, people look at 2020 and go, those guys ate animals. They're monsters.
And they can tear down my statue. Yeah, that's fine. Because I like eating cows. They taste very good, and until a sufficiently tasty replacement comes along, I'm not going to stop. I might slow down, but I'm not going to stop.
Fair.
And they can take me off their money if they will.
Because I will be dead.
I will be dead.
Yes.
They can have I will free all the cows upon my death. Right? The chickens too. And
not just the cows, but the chicken too.
The women and the children. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So the Falcon Paladin Hour has an official no statues policy. I sign off on this. I think we're on the same page. It's good.
Yep. And instead you can use holograms because they can be easily changed.
Ooh, true.
Yeah. And birds won't shit on them.
I mean, try, like from the air. Just couldn't sit on them and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right. Well, that's enough. So, okay, but just back to the original point of the Games Workshop thing. What he's trying to do is be like, this is a fuzzy situation, and people are getting attacked for stuff. I don't know about it. But no, he's on the other side of the line. He's on the other side of the line of things that have been bad. And not just bad now, bad forever ago. Like, I don't know when the last time racist thoughts were publicly spoken in America. I guess depends on where you are. But I mean, generally socially accepted by the entire country. The 60s, probably.
Again, it's all a matter of perspective.
It is.
Like, your president tweeted out that he's working hard to stop the invisible China virus. People would consider that to be racially offensive.
Yes.
That was yesterday.
Not generally socially acceptable by the entire country. That's what I said.
But no, generally, yeah. Like, I guarantee you all of his supporters think that's fine. Or at least a large percentage of them do.
Okay,
right?
fine.
But
if you're going to say that all of Trump supporters are racist, then fine.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying all of his supporters are racist. I'm saying that some people wouldn't consider it racist. They would consider it an accurate fact, and therefore racism doesn't apply because it's accurate.
So So the question is how to apply the label,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets murky too. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, well, that's it. That turned out to be a lot longer than I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's finish up with some a much lighthearted topic. Ubisoft. Have you heard about Ubisoft?
Yeah, I heard there were a bunch of accusations of like sexual harassment and assault and stuff.
Yeah, good times over at Ubisoft. And HR repeatedly used their resources to move people around and like
That's
cover
exactly
up claims.
like everyone does when this stuff happens.
Yeah, yeah.
The Catholic Church,
Yep.
the most well-known
Mm-hmm.
abuser of this ability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So no safety there. Ubisoft, bag of dicks, turns out.
Turns out.
Probably won't be getting Far Cry 6, personally.
CCO reportedly held business meetings in strip clubs.
Yes.
Aren't they French? Isn't Ubisoft French?
Yeah, I believe they're in Canada, so yeah.
So they're Quebecois?
Oh.
Gosh dang it. Where's
Je m'appelle Sure. I don't
Wiki-
know. It's
Je
French.
m'appelle Shore. If we have any French listeners, they're going to be real mad at you. They're headquartered in Montreal, so they are Quebecois. They have studios
Oui.
all over the earth, though. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's my thing. I feel like French culture in general, is a little bit slower to come along the don't sexually harass people train compared to other countries.
I will agree that is your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about French to personally say anything. The thing is, well, the headquarters is in France.
What?
The guy, yeah,
But it said Montreal. Oh, hang on. That's not
Ubisoft.
Montreal.
no,
That's
that's
Montreal.
Montreal.
What the crap? Okay, so it's basically in Paris. They are French.
Yeah,
Okay,
What?
very
that doesn't. It's not an excuse. What was the name of the CEO, dude?
The CCO?
CEO.
Serge.
Ve-
Serge something.
Yeah.
Serge Ascoet.
No, Vez Guillemot.
Is he the CEO? Because this
CEO.
is the CCO that I was talking about.
No. But
Okay.
no, because the CEO also had allegations against him.
Yeah.
Oh no, not allegations against him. He would basically came out and was like, "This is the first I've heard of this,"
Classic.
which either suggests that he's lying or he's incredibly incompetent.
Yeah. If you assuming the allegations are true, if you didn't know about them, either yes, you're a liar or you are terrible at being the CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's.
I don't know. I've been kind of waiting for the hammer to come down on France.
Yeah.
They're pretty racist and sexist in general. Which, again, I'm America. I can't really point fingers. Just saying. Like, on the list of countries who are better at this than others, France is towards the bottom.
I mean, I'm not familiar with France, so
That's pretty much it right there.
yeah.
In 2015, a group of staff in Bulgaria were watching a trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, featuring the actor John Boyega, who is black. People just collectively went, "Hey, look, it's a monkey," says Faye Varsul, a former designer on the team. Good stuff, guys. Really great. Just real progressive.
Yeah. One of the guys that was fucking had allegations against him. One of the allegations was he suggested that one of the female co-workers be bent over and fucked until she understood what it meant, right? Like when in talking about it in terms of like a decision coming up that he was like leaning towards.
Mm-hmm.
These are some classy motherfuckers.
Yes.
Yeah. So think twice before buying another Ubisoft game. People, please.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because as long as you keep buying these things, they will feel no pressure to change because the games media industry doesn't want to say much and because they might lose access, right? They might lose their free copies. They might lose their early access to events and giveaways and their free shit. So don't buy it, please.
Yeah. I don't know if there's much hope of that happening. But
Oh yeah, no. Like, I don't think there's a lot of hope, which is why I'm asking.
Got it.
But, yeah.
Okay. Ubisoft, bad times.
Yeah. God. I was watching Jim Sterling's video. Apparently, their entire HR department asked for, what's the word? Clemency? They were like, we want immunity.
Like immunity, yeah.
Yeah, we want to be like, our names are out of the papers. Otherwise, we're all leaving to go and talk, because they knew that their resources had been abused to hide abusers.
Right.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, everyone.
Yeah. Good luck. Let's actually move on to something happy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big problem with this whole thing. Is part one is, yes, the big issue is that people are acting this way, and two is the cover-up aspect of it. Like, all right.
Yep.
So let's talk about Decadence.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So Decadence. Omicron recommended it to me. It's a show that's actively coming out, so I can't just binge the whole season.
Much to my disappointment.
Unlike most of the anime that I've ever watched, to be honest. Trying to think. Attack on
You watched
Titan?
My Hero Academia, One Punch Man Season 2. You probably watched air.
That's true.
Retweet.
There are exceptions. So anyway, it reminds me of, what's that movie that just came out based on books?
Wow. Narrows it down.
Mortal Engines.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. That looks terrible.
I know. It did not get good ratings at all. It's got a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. So the basic concept of Mortal Engines and Decadence, kind of, is that there are moving cities capable of traveling across the globe, and to give you a bit of safety against the enemies and monsters that exist in the natural world.
Where Decadence differs is, I believe, as far as we're aware, 2 episodes in, there is only one city. So they're not fighting against other cities.
They're just trying to stay alive against the monsters, right?
Yes. Did you end up finding a place to watch episode 2?
I was going to watch it today because it's available, but then work was nuts, and I didn't even get a lunch break. So, no.
Okay.
But I watched episode 1, obviously, and I'll watch 2 today. We'll talk about it next week. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
So episode 1 is jam-packed. It is so much information. They don't slow down at all. Like, basically, it introduces you to the main character. It gives you some backstory. It starts with kind of is it called a flashback if it starts in the past and then moves to the future?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I guess it would depend on whether or not we think the character was remembering that moment. Yeah. I don't think she was. I think it just starts off with a little world building and then flashes forward 8 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And so bottom line, there's a city of thousands, tens of thousands. It's real big. Moving around on giant tractor treads across the world, and every once in a while monsters attack, and so they defend themselves, but also they harvest some kind of something from the monsters they use to power their city. It seems like. For all
intents and purposes, it's probably their blood, right?
Yeah.
Like they can use their blood as like an emulsion, or a fuel, an energy source of some description. And they also cut up and eat the monsters.
Correct. That's their protein.
That's the protein.
Yeah.
And there appears to be a warrior race that lives with them as well. That is the fighters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a great world build. I mean, just thinking back to all the information contained in episode 1 is just dead impressive of how much they were able to pack in there. So kudos for that. It's always good to start off your thing fast. I appreciate it. But it's good. Good characters so far. Good action. Introducing some mystery, obviously. I mean, they're just hitting all the right notes. So it's good so far.
Good so far. I really want to talk about episode 2.
I know.
Like,
I can watch it tonight, and then we can record 10 minutes tomorrow.
Sure, that should be fine.
Okay.
That'll work. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. So just pause the recording here.
Yeah, let's do that. We can do a time.
A few moments later.
So, Decadence. You are not kidding that episode 2 is much different from episode 1.
Yes, it is. Episode 1's all like, it's the end of the world. One girl stands alone, wanting to murder aliens. And then episode 2 is like, hi, we're cute programs playing a video game.
We're playing World of Warcraft.
It's pretty fun. The microtransactions are a bit steep. This one guy wants to remove his limiter restrictions, though. That's kind of cool.
It's very anime. The concept of a limiter is just everything, everyone, ever. Yeah. So, I guess spoiler alert if you're planning on watching this show. Episode 2 reveals that basically the humans are inside like a bubble on Earth, and like robots or cyborgs are outside of that bubble, and the inside of the bubble is basically an MMORPG for them. MMORPG. There we go.
Yes.
For them.
Yeah. It's basically an MMO.
It's such an ambitious storyline to be like, hey, there's these humans you can identify with, but also there's this whole other thing going on of like box-looking creatures that are alive and have personalities and stuff, but it's kind of hard to relate to them in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I mean, it helps that one of the characters that we know in the real world is one of these robots. I need to figure out if they're cyborgs or not.
I think there might be cyborgs.
So Summercron and I watched episode 3 together just now, and we had a discussion about whether or not the actual beings that are populating the Earth outside of humanity, whether they are people that have been turned into robots in some way, or whether they're just robots that have sentience.
Because it's not clear.
It is unclear.
It's super unclear.
Problem is, it's brand new, so there's not a lot of content about it.
My theory is that some of them are, or some of them were people, and some of them aren't. Because we've seen, like the system, like, literally take these things apart and be like, your data is ours, you're dead, though, because you removed your limiter.
Yeah, and so there's nothing in there that's human.
Right.
Exactly.
But I imagine that if this thing's been doing it for, like, the last several hundred years, it's going to need new things, playthings at some point. So it's got to be generating them itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think, I guess, maybe the first or second generations were people that had been cyborged into cyborgs, right? But after that, it just became, we're just creating entirely sentient robots. That's it.
Yeah.
They have personality, they have weaknesses and ambitions, and they can make their own choices and stuff. But they're not human. Yeah.
Although we're not told what choices they're there to make, right? We were given some backstory about, like, oh, you know, this is like, you foolish humans couldn't make the right choices and keep order, and the entire world got, like, CO2 to death. And that's where we came in, right?
Yeah.
And we had all these choices, like, programs being made to make choices, but we're not sure what they're there to make. They just played the MMO.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah.
So their goals are like, don't destroy Earth because we live here.
Right.
And 2, it seems like a lot of them are interested in playing this game.
Right. I feel like a lot of them just play the game, and that the humans aren't really in any danger, right? Like, the system wants to keep the game running, right? The game needs to be balanced. It needs to have NPCs, and what better than to use the humans? And so there is no actual threat to them for the most part.
I guess not. Although episode 3 did just end with a big old attack on their city, so
that's true.
It does seem a little more dangerous maybe than what you're saying. I don't know. We'll see.
It's true. We did just get out of like while we were having that conversation, we were like, I wonder if the anime is all that dark. Like, is it going to be a dark anime? And you're like, no, come on. The main character's too bright and bubbly, and then like their fortress city crashes. It's like completely inoperable, won't move, and like the tidal wave of blood that they float in, green alien blood that they also use for electricity or something, forms a tsunami and probably drowns dozens of people.
It's implied. We don't necessarily see that, though.
That's true. It's implied. It's highly implied.
It is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there might be some more stuff going on here than the first couple episodes would imply. Yeah.
It's true.
So I don't know. I mean, the other interesting thing that I find here is that in this robot world, there is one overarching system that seems like it might not have sentience. It just coldly and calculatedly absorbs information and makes decisions for everybody. But obviously, they don't have to follow them. People break the law. People break the system. People rebel against the system. Not people. The robots do. So who's ever making these robots, whoever's building them, is giving them free will. It's not only self-awareness and sentience, it's free will to completely disobey whatever the system is telling them to do, which seems entirely counterproductive. If you're building a whole thing to where the system knows the right decision, why do your people have the ability to not do what the system wants them to do? It makes no sense.
Who knows?
Right?
Like, we're 3 episodes in. We have no answers to these. We barely have enough information to form the questions.
Effectively, yeah. We're getting there.
But it's a good show.
It's good. It's fun. We had a Rocky montage where the main character got taught how to fight the monsters by the other main character, and they played Eye of the Tiger. And
I wish. Yeah, and then she got a free arm out of it.
She did. She got a new prosthetic arm because she lost most of her arm as a child, and she's had a prosthetic ever since with like 3 fingers. Now she has 5 fingers.
And a needle launcher attachment.
Yeah, she can fire harpoons directly from her hand instead of having to carry like a harpoon gun, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, a harpoon gunner.
Yeah.
A harpoon gun. Yeah.
Yep. Super
harpoon launcher.
Anyway, it's good. We recommend Decadence.
For sure.
So far, very fun. It's only 20-minute episodes. It's not crazy investment.
No.
I mean, what other TV is coming these days? The pickings are a little slim.
Yeah, a little bit slim. I'm sure I could find something else.
I mean, if there's one industry that's doing okay, it's anime, I guess.
Yes. Are you planning on watching Fire Force Season 2?
Yeah, when's that coming out?
It started.
Son of a... We did have this conversation, and I forgot. Let's see if I have it. I'm logging into Crunchyroll, and Weeb just posted on the Discord about how Crunchyroll's mean to its people.
It's true.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Fire Force. Next episode, 24. Is that... No. That's right here.
No.
So they start new season. Episode 1 and 2 are out. Oh, and 3. Crikey. All right. I should watch Fire Force. I think I've said this before, but like Fire Force is one of the shows I really like watching it when I'm watching it. And I think it's interesting and has good characters and it's funny and stuff, but I never think about it when I'm not actively watching it. It never comes across my mind, and no one's ever talking about it other than you. It's a weird show that way.
It is weird, yeah.
But
all right, I want to
alive.
give you a 1 episode recommendation.
Okay.
For a show. So there's a show called Gleipnir, right?
Spell it.
Gleipnir.
Crunchyroll doesn't know what that is.
Okay. You. That's interesting.
I think.
But basically, the show. I don't want you to watch the show. I want you to watch I think it's the second to last episode, because
the heck?
it's its own little mini sub story, right? And
Oh.
there are parts that like connect it to the main story,
It's
but
the show about the furries.
sort of.
It's the one where they climb into like giant suits or that are bears and wolves and things. Come on.
No. That's only one character.
I mean, if you look up Gleipnir, the image is a person climbing into a suit of a wolf. What do you
Yes.
want from me?
Right, that's the main character, and like the story is completely bonkers, right?
So it's not all about furries, is what you're telling me.
No, it is all about furries, but okay, well, kind of. There is an actual furry. What the story is about, right?
It's
is
on Netflix? Oh, not on my Netflix. Sorry, continue. Mm-hmm.
what the story is about is an alien race that had become so powerfully smart they compressed themselves into information, and then they were traveling across the stars for all eternity, and they crashed on Earth, right? And the form they took were like these coins, and so one of the aliens took a human form, and he's like giving out superpowers for people who can recover his lost comrades and friends. And so you bring him a coin, he gives you a superpower. And
Sounds fair. It's a vending
but the
machine.
Right, the vending machine. The superpower is entirely up to you. It's whatever you wish for. He's granting wishes, essentially.
Holy
But
crap.
the main character doesn't remember why or how he got the power that he does, which is to turn into, like, the dog wolf costume suit and with a giant zipper on the back, and people can climb inside. He doesn't know how he got that. That's how the story starts. But the story is it's okay. It's not amazing, right? It's a bit slow in like episodes 5 to 10. But episode 12 has a little sub story where they reveal kind of information about like the big bad, but it's a significantly separate story, right? It kind of has a twist of like the main characters realize they're not the main characters and that this is someone else's story. But
that's always
so
fun.
yeah, so I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure it's episode 12, and I think you'll really like that story. And if you liked that episode, go back and watch the rest.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Apparently, only Funimation has it here in the U.S. Crunchyroll and Hulu, nope.
It's interesting.
I don't want Premium Plus. Just let me see what I can get with Funimation. Free trial, maybe? I'm not paying for this, is what I'm trying to say.
That's fair. If you need to, you can VPN into my Anime Lab account.
Is there not a free Funimation account? Oh, there is now. Okay, I found it. Let's see if Gleipnir is free.
Also, the word Gleipnir not used entirely in the show, like at all.
Sounds
So
about right.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly.
Dude, they're kind of scary. They're kind of Five Nights at Freddy's a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, wait. Here we go. Episode 12, where the promise was made.
I'm pretty sure that's the episode. 90% sure.
And
Yeah.
does it let? Oh, it's playing.
Yep, that's the episode.
All right, well, that's easy peasy. I don't have to pay. It really wanted me to get premium, but apparently I didn't need it. So cool.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, fine. I'll watch this crazy furry show for you.
Thank you. I'm just like, I'm gonna throw it out there. There will be things at like the end half that don't make sense, right?
I'm expecting. Look, I'm picking up a show on episode 12. I expect nothing to make sense, to be honest.
And like, right, but what I'm gonna tell you is just pay attention to the story about the 4 or 5 high school kids. Okay, that's all you need.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, deal.
Deal.
Did you want to drink something?
I did. My throat's a little dry. I'm just gonna.
A little parched.
Yeah. It smells like Sprite, to be honest. I am drinking Chilsung Cider. Sponsors of the GSL.
Yeah.
It's kind of just Sprite.
Oh my god.
Except flat. It's like flat Sprite.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's not bad.
Super flat?
Yeah, like there's no bubbles. It's uncarbonated, from what I can tell.
So, would you buy it again? Honestly, I can't think of a reason to buy flat Sprite.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it if I was like walking through a shop somewhere and they had it, and I was like, oh, I could use something different, like, right? But I'm not going to order like a case for my home. I can't see myself drinking it on the regular.
Fair enough.
Yeah. This part of the podcast is brought to you by the GSL. Watch GSL.
Does the GSL sponsor anything? That'd be amazing if they did.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
No,
Hilarious.
no. They sponsor Maru. Maru's incredible track record.
It's track record of not making it to the playoff in GSL Season 2.
God. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Dude, it's Maru. Like, Maru could lose 8 games in a row in the GSL, like the group stage round 1. I'd be like, yep, that sounds like Maru. Or he could win it, and I'd be like, yep, that sounds like Maru. He's wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, it's so rare to have a player who genuinely feels like they could be in first or in last and be like, well, yeah.
No surprise. None. Zero.
Yeah.
No, I saw that, and I was like, huh, Maru didn't make it through. No part of me was like, what?
The real question is, who am I going to pick for the playoffs?
Jeez. Dude, Rogue is the last hope for there to be 2 Zergs in the playoff for GSL Season 2. 2.
That's fine. 2 is balanced, though.
2 out of 8? Not
Yeah,
balanced.
no, it has to be. Someone has to have 2 because it's 3-3-2. That's as close to balance as you can get. Someone has to be the 2.
Fine. Still. I still maintain Zerg is not overpowered. Cyril and Raynor are just really good at StarCraft.
No, I'm on board, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the group, Rogue might not even get out.
I know, right? That is not an easy group by any stretch.
God, could you imagine a playoffs in GSL where the only Zerg is Don Regu? What year is it?
What year is it? Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
Incredible. Another quick news before we go. They released some more Squadrons footage.
Did they?
Yeah. So, what's his face? Eckert's Ladder put out a video, and he is in love with the beta he's been allowed to play. And just one thing, he said specifically, he was able to talk with some people involved on the team, and the lead developer said he went back and he played X-Wing versus TIE Fighter from 1997, and that is where he drew the inspiration from. So it's very much 90s Star Wars flight sim combat. It is not Battlefront in any stretch. It is not anything that has been made in the last 20 years. It is going back to the 90s, and I could not be more excited for that. It's good. He's like, it doesn't hold your hand. You die a lot. There are no like firing indicators of like fire here to hit this ship that's traveling in that direction so you can lead him. Like there's no hand holding. It's like, here, do your thing, fire, and wherever you shoot, you're gonna shoot. Figure it out. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely gonna buy it.
Were you what game were you playing on stream today?
This is X-Wing Alliance from 1999. It's the last of this type of game that we ever got until Squadrons.
Okay, because it totally did have leading targets that I saw while I was watching you play.
Yeah, like the receptacle lights up.
Yeah.
If you're aiming at the area where it is. So that is something they did in 99. But I think what he was talking about in Battlefront is it literally lights up the part of the screen you need to aim at in order to hit the target.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. In Alliance, if you aim in the part of the space where it will hit something that you're trying to lead, it will light up and tell you you're correct.
Right. The other one. Yeah, the other one will tell
thing.
you. The other one will tell you where you need to aim. The other one will tell you if you're aiming there.
Yeah, it's just it's a different skill. A little less handholdy there. I mean, I don't know. He made it sound like you don't get even that in Squadrons. So,
well,
that's interesting.
I'm watching some of his video, and it does look like there's similar kind of turning green.
Okay.
So there might be
Maybe
something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, in Alliance, sometimes it's like green and I fire and it misses. I'm like, what? And I have to aim a little bit further than it's telling me to, and that's annoying. So I'm not even sure it's all that useful most of the time. Who knows?
Right. Right.
Yeah, looking forward to it. He said for sure you can play with AI and against AI. You don't have to play with any other humans, which I think is fantastic. This
That's
is
good.
not an online ladder-only style game. You can play with robots if you want to, and I think that's a good choice. Because I don't have any plans to get great at this. Like, I don't have any plans to grind until I can compete with the best people. I don't know. I might have a bit of an advantage just because I've been playing Alliance for the last month or so, and will have been playing it for a while by the time it comes out.
Maybe.
Maybe some of the skills will translate. Maybe they won't. But I don't care. Just for fun.
You know, the big difference between this and Alliance that you've been playing is Alliance is like, here's a heads-up display, and you're on a black screen. Turn your camera until you find the dot that you can shoot at. This one, I can actually see things, right? Like, they bothered to put, like, oh, there's an asteroid belt there, and it's bright. It's not like 1999 graphics of black screen with white dots every now and then to indicate stars in the distance.
Yeah. Or indicate you're moving. There's just little bits of debris in space that you're flying through, right?
Right.
No, this is very much you're fighting near a Star Destroyer, or you're fighting near an asteroid belt, like you said, or you're on a planet. It's much, much more visually interesting.
Yes.
A lot of Alliance is like, you are in the deepest space. And maybe over in that direction, there's some kind of galaxy you can kind of see, I guess.
Right, because I was watching you play, and I was like, oh, I think I get why he likes this game so much. I'm watching you fly towards a thing, and I can't tell far away it is. Like, I've got no depth perception here. Like, you just feel in sync with it.
So I feel at home. Yeah, that's fair. Entirely fair. One thing I did notice from the beta videos, it felt like everybody was moving kind of slow, and I couldn't tell if that's because they weren't running at full speed on the engines, or if it's just a little bit slow, even if you're trying to go full speed. So I don't know. I'll have to see. Maybe I'll ask in the comments, but either way. Either way, it was really encouraging. It was just I could tell what they were trying to do from a lot of the choices they made. But just to hear the designer be like, I went back and I played this game, and this is what we're doing in 2020, and I was like, yes, okay, feel good, feel good. So that's it.
Cool.
I think that's it for the pod then.
I think it is. Let's wrap this up.
Cool beans. So thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about nerdy stuff and serious stuff and just be nice to people. Please be sure to check out the Patreon page for the podcast as well as the store, just falconpaladin.store for merch. And until next time, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. And until next week, as always, you take care of yourself.